summer camp program, they started realizing that people actually don't want to go to South Florida to do summer camp. And they started doing a winter camp program, which sells out in 24 hours when they open up the registration button. But what's interesting about that is that currently in the BSA profession, there are 9 of us serving who were on that camp staff. For a small camp that served 200, maybe 100 was a big week. I can't remember what it was small. Maybe 200 was a huge week. It's interesting. There was something magical, special about those alligator bites, the venom in the snakes, that made us crazy enough to make this our life's work. I do want to hit on something that's been mentioned a couple times, but I want you to really understand how important this is to us as a national organization. There is a level of collaboration at the National Service Center that I have been told has never been seen before. Every week, the membership team, the marketing team, and the program team get together. Now, that was forged originally because of Family Scouting. We realized we could not do this alone, and we want to make sure that this was going to be quality. Because the eyes of the world were watching us. We had a lot of naysayers that we needed to prove wrong, and we did. But after Family Scouting has launched, we've actually said, we're going to keep doing this. And we pull in health and safety at times, we pull in legal at times. So that collaboration happens on a weekly basis with the National Service Center. I want you to know that so that you have confidence that none of us are working in a bubble and none of us are working in a silo. We have a strong sense of communication and a strong sense of teamwork. So let's get started. Hey, that's a really bad picture too. All right. So, man, that's not the weatherman photo. We talked a lot about, April covered a lot of the game plan, and the things that you see. You're going to be able to directly, without me having to show the tie of what we're doing and the direction that we're moving in with Cub Scouting is directly tied not to just one of these, but with all 4 of these. And I'll tell you what really helps is this one. Data driven. We don't sit around and say, well, I think Cub Scouts should be like this. And then I call Lucia, and Lucia says, yeah, I think that too. Okay, and then we're going to do it, right? We actually look at the data. And sometimes data tells us stuff that we don't like to hear. Right next to me, there's too many layers in scouting. I said, well, guess what? We're going to peel some of those layers back. Because we do need to get back to what is the core program of Cub Scouting. So much so that back in the 1930s, the reason why we grow Cub Scouting so much, who knows actually, I don't know if we asked that question last night. How many kids we started with Cub Scouting in year 1? 3,000, right? 3,000. We only had 3,000 kids joining Cub Scouting the first year we launched it. There was a big push not to allow Cub Scouts to happen. Big push. This is not new territory for us as an organization. Maybe new for us personally, but it's not new territory for us personally as an organization. So we really do look at data, and we are trying to set up systems to make sure that what we do with our program is relevant. And to be relevant, what do you have to be able to do?
Repeat it.
Repeat it. Change. Who said that? Raise your hand. Fantastic, in back row, right? So you have to be able to change, not only be able to change, but you have to have a process for change. If you don't have a process to change on a regular basis, you can talk about, hey, scouting is more relevant for today's youth than ever before, but you're just saying words without a process behind it. Simple, right? Nice and simple. Let's make it simple. So we did stuff that we tried to make it visually simple, right? And this may seem like minor stuff, but man, you're changing the neckerchief of yellow to red? Oh my God! And when are we? Do you know that we're going to see yellow neckerchiefs and red neckerchiefs in the same year? When are the red neckerchiefs going to come out? It's a rolling change. We're okay with this. We're okay. I'm okay that in one pack you could have a den of wolves for 1 year having yellow neckerchiefs and another den have red because they sold out and they got the red ones new. And you know why? Why? It doesn't matter. It's not core to the program. We'll get there eventually, right? We have to stop thinking like, oh, today we have to have everything the way it's supposed to be, right? It's long range. Guess what? If we're really serious about being an organization forever, not just the next 100 years. I hate when people say that. Oh, the next 100 years. No, we're here forever. Long term. We're always going to be here, right? So let's make decisions that indicate that we are okay with having some long-term decisions. These are what's called, I learned this language when I got in the organization, thanks to my friends at Supply. This is a rolling change. So you'll see rolling changes, which means that we sell out of our inventory, we don't mothball it, and then try to sell it as old program stuff or discount it. We sell out of it, and then we implement the change. Because if it's not health and safety or legal issues that we don't have to change immediately, we can make it a rolling change. And we gotta be comfortable with that. All right, so how do we simplify? This is not simple. Oh my, this is nickel and diming. These are the stuff that we do that's just, no offense on people who made these decisions, stupid, okay? So, it's the 13th-point Scout law. Scout is not stupid. So, there's a couple of things here that's interesting because as April loves, one of the things that I think we see eye to eye on, I was a math ed major. And so I love data too. And sometimes I get in the weeds. I start digging into things because I'm like a kid at a candy store working at the National Service Center. Like at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I just walk around the office to see what people are working on and get in their business. And so one of the things I get access to is the sales data of stuff.
That's absolutely.
Yeah. Sometimes it's in a page or two.
That's right.
So what's interesting is that you would say from a retail standpoint, a normal retail sales standard, the more items you have, the higher your sales, right? You need the more SKUs, the better, right? That's not true in our organization. The reason why it's not true, I looked at the data. We don't sell more stuff because we have more SKUs. Why? Because as a smart Cub Master who cares about my families, I don't sit there and they say, well, we just joined. Do we need, to tie your socks and then change the, no, I tell them just get that. It'll last longer, right? And we know that's going in the field. Are people really getting the Tiger 10-liter patch for 1 year, taking it off, sewing on the Cub Scout 10-liter patch, taking it off, and then putting the weebles in? No. The sales don't show it either. The sales don't show it. And so there's things that we've made. Oh, and this is my favorite conversation. I've actually just joined Scouts, right? You're a non-legacy family, so all this is gobbledygook. You don't really understand any of it. So you go in with your child, and they're in 4th grade, and you go to the Scout shop, and the Scout shop person who's always very friendly says, "Hey, welcome to Scouts." And you say, "Thanks, we just joined. Fantastic. Well, how can I help you today?" "We're here to get a uniform." "Excellent. Great. What grade is your child in?" 4th grade. "Excellent. So, how can I help you?" "We're here to get a uniform." "Fantastic. So, which one do we get?" "I don't know." "What do you mean you don't know? Don't you work here?" "Yeah, but it depends on your den." "I don't know what a den is." "Well, your pack. You should ask your Cub Master." I don't know what Cub Master. When we gave an option to having a blue uniform or a tan uniform for Weeblos, we're causing friction. Okay? No one leaves Scouting and no one's joining Scouting for some of these changes. I want to make that very clear. I don't have that Pollyannic view of that. But this is a point of friction. So this is the straw that breaks the camel's back, but it's a straw. So if we can remove that straw, let's do it. Because it's not core to the program, right? Do having 3 different belts help us deliver the values of Scouting? No, it doesn't. Are we making more money because we have 3 belts?
Oh,
No.
not necessarily.
No. In fact, what we're doing is we're causing a friction point because parents get kind of upset that, oh, I just spent $100 on a uniform and now I got to spend another $55 for just changing the program year. So, are we done? 10 liter. Switch on. Right? It's fascinating when you actually look at the history of Cub Scouting and why we have these Cub Scout 10 liter patches, all these different position patches, and some of it's actually kind of ugly. Does anyone know why we have a Weeblos patch? Weeblos 10 liter patch? Because that was the first one that we started. Because in the 1930s, you could not be a female and be a Weeblos 10 liter. Oh yeah, there's language in old handbooks that just, it's like, ooh. Can't do that. So that's why they had a position patch that was for the man. Did you know that Den Mother was not an official registered position in the VSA into the 60s? Yes. Crazy, right? So let's make it easy. Let's get rid of that. Let's make it, hey, if I'm in 4th grade, this is your uniform. Period. Let's get rid of the sock, right? We don't need Cub Scout Tiger specific stuff, right? It's Cub Scouts. It's simple, right? Isn't it? Now that's simple, isn't it? None of the stuff that we're taking away is core to our mission or values, right? So that's, we're kind of getting loose on that. Is that good? Yeah. Okay, good. You know, I'm from a single parent household. I need affirmation, so I appreciate that. If we keep going, I just keep going until I say stop, right? So, that would be great. And I like the neckerchief. Scout me in. All right. So, welcoming girls into Cub Scouts. Let's talk a little bit about that. We saw a trend, but man, I mean, it's worth seeing more, right? Look at that growth trend. That's amazing, right? And the potential we have this fall, because what we found with councils who had huge success with membership and welcoming families to scouting was they said, PAX, this is what we're doing. All of our support material is going to be centered around family scouting. If you're not going to provide scouting to the whole family, you're the outlier. And they jumped in. They didn't, I don't know about this, right? Those that kind of did this, the results are on the end. But those who jumped in, every single one of them had huge success in their school nights. And you know who's not complaining about having enough leaders? Our family packs. Right? The additional leadership that's needed for all these new dens. Well, guess what? You're opening your brain to so many more people. You have a much greater pool to pull from. All right, so here's some great things. We do survey people about when they join, and one of the key things that we're very concerned about was, are girls going to feel welcomed? Right? We can say all we want up here on the national level, but in the pack, in the den, that's where the rubber meets the road, and we don't have a lot of control over that. Well, I would say we hit it out of the park. I think the unit leaders who did family scouting, welcomed girls in the packs, did so wholeheartedly and with open arms and welcoming. So these are the girls who joined. This is the most recent data from we surveyed. We do surveys to our scouts and families that just joined, and this is from the fall. Almost 92% said their joining experience was either excellent or good. That's pretty darn good. I mean, you can't ask for better results than that. 92.5 said that they felt welcomed. That's amazing. That is amazing. And then 68% of girl parents became leaders. That's a higher percentage than parents of boys. So parents of girls are more likely to stick around and be involved and be engaged and be a leader. And then our net promoter score for girl families is 68.7, which is a huge net promoter score. If you're not familiar with how that system is ranked, it's a really difficult, challenging to get above 50. When you get in the 60s, you're doing good. If you're in the 70s and higher, you're doing exceptional. So 68.7 is a really good score. All right, training leaders. We talked about this a little bit. I'm all about simplification, right? Lucia and I, when I first came on board, we've had these great conversations, and we see eye to eye on this, right? Which is, look, I'm a busy parent. I'm in that threshold of new parents joining Cub Scouts. You know, tell me what to do, right? Don't throw me a whole bunch of stuff like a pantry and say, make something. That's what we used to do, right? No, give me the recipe. Tell me what meal we're planning. Tell me what you want me to cook, and I'll cook it. But don't just tell me to be that creative when I first join. So we need a tutorial. We need to make sure we're bringing people along who are non-legacy families along for the journey to make it simple and easy for them to deliver the program. And doing so means that we have to really get to what is our program, as Lucia said. And if you were what is our program? If you were to boil down our Cub Scout program to one thing, what would it be? What item? Which is funny because that's not part of our program. Handbook. It's that easy. And the change in the handbooks, if you've seen it, and if you haven't read a handbook lately or have a copy on your desk, make sure you have one and read through it. And there's a reason for that. We're all salesmen for scouting. We're all spokespeople for scouting. And you need to know the product you're selling. The greater product knowledge you have, the better salesman you can be. So training, it all begins with training leaders. So we say, hey, welcome to scouting. We need you to be a den leader. We met. We think you have the skill set to be the best den leader that we've ever had, right? That's I think Clint or someone talked about, instead of just asking to join, but recruiting, right? Recruit. It's purposeful. It's methodical, right? But if they can't, then what leadership position do we put people on? What's the lowest level of commitment of a leadership position in a pack? Snack. And how would we convert that snack into a leadership position?
Committee member.
Committee member, right? Look, I get it, right? Not everyone wants to put on a uniform and leave with kids every week. I get that. But that doesn't mean you're getting out of this alive. We're all going to be involved. So if you just bring snacks, you're the snack chair, right? Or you're just, the snack bringer. Whatever you want to call it. So what's interesting is our old training module, do you know how long it would take if you were to be a PAC committee member just bringing the snacks to get trained in that position? Does anyone want to take a stab how long the training modules were for that position?
3 hours.
3 hours.
2 hours.
4. 4. Really? I mean, I know I said 4. That's stupid. And then we rate ourselves to say, well, what percentage of our trained leaders do we have? And we go, well, why was the PAC committee number so bad, right? So we did really tore this apart. The new online training positions, they're actually up now. So one thing I love doing, and this is kind of that model that we're following, which is we are not going to go to the national annual meeting and say, hey, here's this new thing that we're going to do, and it's going to come out sometime, right? No, we're going to have it, and it's ready. So all the online modules have been changed. They're up to date, and they're online right now. They're modernized. We broke out PAC committee chair from PAC committee, because we want the snack bringer deluxe chair to be trained. And they don't need the same level of training as the PAC committee chair, right? Which is a much higher level of responsibility. So we actually got den leader, club master, and PAC committee chair to 2 hours. Total training. That includes hazardous weather training. That's 30 minutes. So technically, the Cub Scout portion of this is 90 minutes that we've gotten this down to. How do we do that? Well, guess what? Lucia and I looked at this and we're like, how many times are we going to talk about X, Y, Z in every module? We took that out. That's all we did. We took out the repetition. If we already covered it, we're not going to talk about it again. Don't need to. Average module size is, length is about 6 minutes. 6 to 7 minutes. Bite-sized chunks. Real easy. All right, the PAC committee, our snack bringer, hey, if you got a free hour, we need you to go online and get trained. Because guess what the snack bringer doesn't need? They don't need hazardous weather training. Right? They don't need to know about the advancements. There's certain things that they just don't need to know about to do that position. Now, you thought that was cool? This is even better. So this is an example of, this is the old modules. We used to have them before the first meeting, 30 days, earning your pass rank. Now we got before your first meeting, before your first outdoor adventure, and then earning your train pass, because that's technically what you're doing, right? We simplified the language. What used to take 3.5 hours now only takes 2. And each module is about 45 minutes. We try to keep that so each module is equal in length. You can see we have modules that are 2 minutes, and then our longest one is hazardous weather training, which is 31. Don't have too much control of that one. All right, so where do Cub Masters come from? Really? I thought it was just me. Who agrees that most of our Cub Masters were probably a den leader at one time or another? Right? Right. It's the scouting principle. You do great in this job. We're not going to keep you in this job. That would be crazy. We're going to move you another job. Right? And so good den leaders, we say, hey, you're going to make a great Cub Master. So we ask them to serve as Cub Masters. So if you're a good den leader, that means you probably went online, you're a trained den leader. And then you're asked to be Cub Master. So what do you have to do to become a trained Cub Master if you're already a trained den leader?
Extra modules.
A couple? That's way too many.
Okay.
One.
Okay.
And it's 12 minutes long. Right? So when we talk about simplifying, we're talking about simple. We're trying to remove these roadblocks. Anytime we see a potential friction of saying, why do I have to do this? You know, we know that there's other ones out there that we can't control tomorrow, right? Which is another application? Are you kidding me? We are very aware of that. We're trying to address that. But that's until we get there, there's other things that we can do that's simple. So in 12 minutes, if you're a trained den leader, you're now can be a trained Cub Master or assistant Cub Master. That's easy. I can do that. Onboarding leaders, bringing them on for the journey. All right, so these are new materials. This is your first group, the first set of eyes to see this, other than our Cub Scout committee. These are new onboarding materials. Welcome, new den leader series. Welcome to Tiger and Lion, because in Lion and Tiger dens, what's different about and unique about those dens compared to other dens? Adult partners, right? So that is in there. And then Wolf and Bear, and then Weeblos, right? And what's interesting is this is like foolproof. So you can use this to recruit someone, which is what I highly recommend. You should always have 2 things when you go to recruit a volunteer. What are 2 things that you should always have? Let's see if anyone. Oh. No, you're asking for marriage on the first date. All right. So you have a position description. What are you asking me to do specifically so I can know if I'm saying yes or no to, right? And another volunteer. It's a lot harder to say no to 2 people than it is 1, right? So this is like really easy step by step. This is like step 1, register. Step 2, YPT. You know, get trained. You know, these are really just step-by-step stuff that if you're a legacy person, you're like, of course, everyone knows to do that. But if you're non-legacy, you're like, I don't even know where to begin. Well, here's where you begin. We're going to take you on this journey. We also have that for Cub Masters and new committee members. Same thing, simple format. And then this has been a big request of the field, which is a generic welcome new Scout families. Do you have this brochure that we can give to that school night, or that it just explains what Cub Scouting is to non-legacy families, right? What are these critters that we're talking about? What are these dens? What's a pack, right? So it's those simple explanations of what scouting is. And then the last page, of course, is, you know, my pack is, my Cub Master is, contact information that you can write it. So all that stuff is available in PDF format, so you can either use it as an online tool, or you can print them out if you want to. But, right, we're not printing these things out and shipping out to council so that they can sit in someone's closet.
Are these available already?
Not yet. I'm going to post them probably in a week or 2. I've got links for them that I'll share with the group so that you can start downloading them today if you want. All right. Welcome an onboarding series. So this is very cool. This is something we're already doing. So it's interesting. A lot of the stuff that we're doing now, as what Michael was talking about, you may not have seen the marketing stuff that we're doing. Do you know why? It's not for you, right? If you're not in that, if you don't have kids, you're probably not going to see it. If your kids are 30 and 40 years old, you're not going to see it. the kind of marketing that we do is very targeted, and it's not a billboard or Super Bowl ad. We've talked about this for decades. Those things don't work. We've tried stuff like that before. It doesn't work. It's all about localize. Localize, localize. All right, so here's something that we can do to help support directly down to the unit and the parents. When you join Cub Scouts, what should we say? We're glad you're here. Not give me your application, where's your money, you need to take YPT. Not a welcoming thing, right? Hey, welcome, we're glad you're here. So, little welcome message. Hey, who's seen this video before? It's on our Cub Scout website. The top 5 things that parents ask. That's research-based. That wasn't Lucia and I sit down and go, well, what do you think we want parents to know, right? No, it is from research and data. We asked, what are the things you would have liked to know earlier as a parent, right? That would have helped make this easier. So we address those. So then the second email comes out and says, hey, if you haven't already, you need to get your uniform, you need to get your handbook, and this is where you can find it, right? And it goes to your local scout shop first, not online, right? And then the last piece is a very soft sell about getting engaged, right? Leadership opportunities. How does this whole pack thing work? Testimonies, right? The series of 3 emails goes out over a 2-week time period, so we're not bombarding them one after one. And so we've had huge success with this because we've got a high click rate on these items, because that's one of the things that we can track. All right, New Scout Adventures. So one of the cool things that we did was we put all the Cub Scout program into a handbook, right? Who remembers belt loops? Who remembers the requirements for the belt loops? Great, right? How many requirements were there for almost every belt loop? 3. It was like, learn about this, practice this, do this. Like, it was that easy, right? The problem with belt loops was parents didn't value them because they weren't part of rank. They were meaningless. They weren't core to the program. So that's why we switched to adventure loops, right? We essentially took some of those topics and topics that were in the handbook and made them adventure loops. So now it makes sense. Why am I earning this? Because this gets you to your rank. Oh, that I understand, right? So the question, that's the good thing. The easy thing that we had with the old adventure loops was that if we wanted to create a new one, it was easy, right? 3 requirements, national supply, another SKU item, fantastic, we're gonna make more money. But now, how do we introduce a new adventure? Right? How can we take a new topic and field test it and find out, is this working? And so we have launching Preview Adventures. Preview Adventures provides a sandbox to introduce something new, a new topic, to see if the kids like it or not. Do you know what one of the most popular new merit badges is? Chess. Would anyone here lost a lot of money if you were betting on whether or not chess merit badge was going to make it or not? I would have. But the kids love it. So sometimes we don't know until we throw it out in the field and test it. So this is the way to do that. So Preview Adventures, all the stuff's going to live online. Lives on scouting.org, public facing, very easy to get to. You don't have to go to my.scouting, log in, or anything like that. All the stuff that you need to deliver that program is there. The Den Leader Guide, the how to do it, record a scout book, and then the adventure loop or pin you order directly from National Supply, and it's online order only. Control our inventory, very easy, simplify, and if we need to make a change to one of these on the fly, we can. Field comes back and says you need to change this, we change it. Super easy. All right, so we have 2 Preview Adventures that we're launching in May. You can start working on them this summer if you want to. The first one is, yeah. Can I get this? How do I get that?
You may need to click it on the computer.
Right.
Yeah, sorry.
We're going to skip that. No? All right, we're going to skip it. I'm getting the stink eye from. that Brian, this is what he does for a living. He works for Duncan Yo-Yo. He goes around the world and does crazy tricks like this. The cool thing about Brian is, guess who's going to be at the National Annual Meeting? So Brian's going to be in our exhibit hall doing tricks. He's got stage time. So super cool. We've been working with him on developing the requirements and the support materials that go with this program. So the other cool thing about this, so this is going to be the logo for the adventure. Adventure loops that are in preview mode are purple. And so then, because there's only going to be one loop for all ranks. So one design, one color, so that way we know it's in preview mode, if you will. It's easy. They have great instructional videos. So part of that online process of being able to deliver the yo-yo adventure includes instructional videos. How to tie the yo-yo, how to do this trick. And so the den leader can educate themselves with a visual on how to deliver this. Sound like a good idea? Should we do that with all the things that we do? Maybe. The other one that we're really excited about is this partnership with the Berger Foundation. This is a really important topic. Who remembers the time to tell? Or it happened to me?
Oh, yeah.
You know, that is our most recent version of the youth-facing youth protection series. I saw that as a kid, right? So we have updated this series, our youth-facing for Cub Scouting youth protection series. They're called the Protect Yourself Rules. And the mission is that these are in preview mode now when we launch them, but they will become required adventures. This is one that we're testing the den meetings and getting feedback on the delivery of it, but the content isn't going to change. It's going to give you an option to either do this or cyber chip over the next 2 years, and then it will become a requirement. This is a sampling of the content.
Hi there, I'm Gina.
And I'm Brian.
Today at our den meeting, we're starting a new adventure. In this adventure, we'll play games, do some activities, and learn important lessons on how to stay safe.
During this adventure, we'll discuss some serious topics. These topics are part of the Protect Yourself rules.
In our video, you'll meet two friends, Sarah and Lenny. They will help you learn the 6 Protect Yourself rules.
Those rules are: tell a grown-up, safe touch and unsafe touch, stranger safety, it doesn't matter who it is, shout, run, and tell, and hitting is wrong.
Now, let's meet Sarah and Lenny.
Hello everyone, I'm Miss Berger. Today, we're going to talk about abuse. All children deserve to grow up happy and healthy.
Hi there, I'm...
So that is just a sampling. The animation is actually done by a studio that was behind animated series such as the Rugrats and the Wild Thornbergs. And so we partnered with the Barbara Sinatra Foundation to deliver this product. They have lesson plans that go with this because it was a school-based curriculum. They're going to be there, and one of the animated characters is actually going to be there at National Annual Meeting as well, and live, which is going to be kind of interesting of how we do that. So at this time, we're going to stop the live